Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Pooks and today we're going to be taking a first look at the Rec Room iOS mobile beta. Now, the Rec Room iOS mobile beta was released last week, as many of you know. The app was launched via the Test Flight app, which is an app that iOS app developers can use to send out their beta apps for people to test using keys. I was among the first to receive a beta key. I'm very fortunate and thankful to them for sending that to me. And today we're going to be taking a look at how the game works, how the game is played, what you can and can't do, things like that. Now, to start, getting the app was very easy. Now, getting the app, because it's a beta version, is different than getting the full released version. I did have to download the Test Flight app. After downloading the Test Flight app, I went on over to the email that Test Flight sent me, and then got my code that they had sent me. I put it right into Test Flight. It registered my key to my Apple ID account, and immediately started downloading the Rec Room mobile beta. For me, the game took roughly 5 minutes to install. There were no hiccups. I launched the app and everything worked great. I am currently playing the game on an iPhone 6s Plus that does have most of its storage taken up, and it's an older phone, so the performance isn't perfect. I'm also mirroring my device to my computer so I can record it better, so the quality is a little worse than it actually will be on an actual phone screen, but it's what we have to live with to get quality recording that I can sync my audio with. Now, when you first launch the app, you're greeted with an orange screen with a white Coach logo. This screen can take anywhere from 5 to 50 seconds to load, and occasionally it does crash. However, once it loads, you will be greeted with the first step of the login process. Once the app finally loads, you will be greeted with this screen where you need to tap anywhere to begin. Upon tapping the screen, you will be sent to the screen where you can either log into a different account or continue as a previously logged into account. Now, much like the regular version of Rec Room on your PC or PlayStation, you can have multiple accounts signed in if you have friends who want to play, or alternate accounts. I last signed in with my regular account, Pooks221, but you can also click the lower text that says sign into another account. If you click this, much like on regular Rec Room on your PC or PlayStation, it will bring up a screen asking you to select other accounts or to ask you to sign in with a different account or to create a new account if you've never played before. Now, if you are logging into the app for the first time, it's almost exactly like logging in for the first time on any other device. It will prompt you to either create an account or log into an existing one. If you already have an account, just enter your username and password. You're good to go. If you don't have an account, you can create one. It's really simple, and it'll walk you through the tutorial. For today's purposes, I will be logging into Pooks221, so you click that. It will log you in, and we will be sent to the next loading screen. Now, I'm not sure if you can hear, but at this point, some of the audio does crackle. Since it's the beta version, that is probably a bug that will be patched out and fixed soon. Now, the game will take a little bit longer to load because I'm mirroring it to my computer, but loading times often take anywhere from, again, 10 seconds up to a minute, and occasional crashes do happen, but that's expected with any game that's in any sort of testing phase. Once this loads, we will be in our dorm room, however, so we will just wait for this to load. Once the game loads, you will be sent to your dorm room. This is just like any other version of Rec Room, where you'll be sent to your dorm room that you've customized, or if you're a new player, you'll be able to go through the tutorial just like any other version of the game. Now let's get on to the differences. Yes, technically this is screen mode, however, as you can see, all of your controls are located on the screen. Off to your left, you have a joystick. Now, this joystick controls your movement. It's very similar to any other version where you can walk forward by pressing up, backwards by pressing down, and left and right respectively. Now, to look around, you use your opposite hand, or the hand you're using to control your joystick, it's really just preference, and you touch the screen and you can drag. Dragging around will change the direction you're looking at. You can walk and change the direction you look at the same time. Just as a side note, any screen stuttering that is excessive is due to the fact that I'm mirroring this footage to my computer. There is some screen stuttering in the base game when you're just playing it on a phone, however, it is less noticeable. To continue on with the controls, let me get in front of the mirror. Off in the upper left-hand corner, all the way in the top, you have your watch controls. If you press that, your watch opens, and you can view all of your regular watch buttons. You have your message control. Much like screen mode, it will bring up a keyboard. You can type your message. You press done. You press OK. It will do the signature screen mode whistle, and everyone else around you can see the message that you just typed. We also have a camera button, which when pressed will activate selfie mode. Within here, you have a lot of options. Off to your left in camera mode, up to the top, you can flip your camera if you want to take a picture of something in front of you. Flip it back around if you'd like to take a selfie. Got a nice selfie angle, you can take a selfie with someone else. You can still move around like normal. Your camera position will be facing forward, so you're not actually facing backwards. The button off to the right is the button to take a picture, so if I wanted to take a picture with our dummy right there, you would press the button on the right with the camera icon. It takes a moment to load. It takes your picture and then you can share it, set it as your profile picture, etc. I'm going to share this to RecNet. And just like in any other version, it shares to your RecNet feed. To exit the camera, up in the top right hand corner, you can press the X, and it will put you back to normal. Now, to continue on with the controls, off to your left, underneath the three icons, you can see a pointer finger button. If you click that, it will open up some actions. If you click the top one, you can point. You can click the large button on the right to point. This can be used to click on other players to open up profiles, click on buttons, or a variety of other things. If you stand still for a few seconds, the action is cancelled. Underneath a point, you can party up. This is the signature wave and fist bump. Now, if no one is in the room to party up with, like in my current situation, or nobody parties up with you, up in the upper right-hand corner, underneath the push-to-talk button, which we'll get to in a second, is an X, which just cancels the action. Moving on in the actions menu, we have the high five, which you lift up your hand and wait for one of your friends to high-five you. This, again, is cancelable by the button in the upper right-hand corner. Click that, and the action is cancelled. Underneath your high five, you have make a friend, where you wave, stick your hand out, and wait for someone to shake your hand. As always, it's cancelable by the right exit button in the upper corner. Now, moving on to the left side of the screen. On the left side of the screen, you have some more movement controls. The larger upper button that you can see on the screen that I will highlight, if you press it once, allows you to jump. Pressing it twice will activate flying if the room enables it. Again, flying goes forwards and backwards, left and right, and you control your height by the direction you look at. If I were to look straight up and move forward, I would fly straight up, and straight down if I move backward respectively. Left and right stays the same. Pressing jump again cancels flying. Pressing the smaller button underneath of the jump button activates crouch. Pressing it again gets rid of crouch, and you can go back to moving normally. While in crouch, movement is still the same, and you can jump from a crouched position. Moving on, if you are not currently doing an action, the upper right-hand corner has the emotions section. Tapping that button opens up several emotions that your character can do. The top one is happy, which looks like this. You clap and get very excited. Underneath of that, we have sad. We're all sad and you cry. It's all very sad. Next, we have laughing. Oh, it's so funny. You put your hand in front of your face and you laugh. And finally, you have angry. You slam your fists down. And again, that is very similar to regular screen mode. Now, at the top of the screen, off to the right-hand side, we have the push-to-talk button. Pressing it will give the familiar radio static, meaning that your voice is active. My mouth is now moving in-game, and anything I said can be heard by anyone around me, and the indicator is lit up saying I am speaking. When I drop my finger off of the button, you hear the familiar static click, button goes dark, and my mouse stops moving. At the moment, the game is only push-to-talk in this version, similar to how the screen mode beta was only push-to-talk. I'm hoping that in the future, Rec Room enables push-to-talk to be turned off or on at the player's discretion, as when you're doing actions, playing a game or a quest, it's hard to be doing actions, jumping and ducking, and holding the push-to-talk button at the same time, unless you have a friend helping you press the buttons or a third hand. Now that I've covered the basics of all the controls, let's get into the settings and how you can customize this game. If you open up your watch, make sure you're in the home menu, and you click the settings tab off to the upper right. It's, for the most part, very similar if you're on PlayStation or PC. Your audio systems are all the same, where you can turn music on and off. Sounds, you can control the volume, ambiance, and voices. You can control your voice pitch in this version, and at the moment you can only have your microphone off or push to talk. At the moment I'm not holding push to talk, so my voice is not currently picked up. If I press push to talk, however, the voice bar works exactly like it does on every other version of Rec Room. Under the Experience tab, we have the Ignore bubble and the Appear Online 2 features. You cannot control personal space as you are not in VR. We also have our watch notifications, the space bubble application buttons, along with our notify when I'm online, and non-junior matching buttons. In the Gameplay tab, we have two iOS-only features. We have a touch sensitivity setting and an invert touch button. Touch sensitivity, which is a button that can be moved up or down, controls the sensitivity of the camera speed when you touch your screen. I will demonstrate this in a moment. Pressing invert touch will make it so if you move your finger in one direction, the camera moves the opposite, as it says it inverts the y-axis for your camera movement up and down respectively. Now, to go over the touch sensitivity setting, as this one is a setting that I find most useful. If I have the touch sensitivity setting at a low number, let's set this as 15, and I go and I clear out of my watch. Moving my camera is a lot slower now. Now if I were to open up, go to settings, and make this a high number, say 45, close my watch, my camera now moves much more rapidly. This setting should be customized to your own personal preference and feel, and it can be changed in between games if certain games need faster reaction times or you need to look around faster. I was playing at 35, so I'm going to go back to 35 as it felt most comfortable. To continue in the settings, we have some advanced settings. We have backup frequency, remember this account, show names, and the help page. It's all very similar to regular screen mode. Now that I've gone over settings, let's get more into the gameplay aspect of things. To start, let me explain how the dorm room works. To change your appearance, such as your hair color, skin tone, and face, you walk up to your mirror, and a bubble will appear that says change your look. This bubble appears in lots of locations to complete different actions, such as pressing buttons, changing your appearance, reaching info on other players to reach their bio when in the pointing menu, etc. Clicking this button will activate the action. I click it, and I'm now in the appearance section. I can tap the hair and change my hair color, beard color respectively. I can tap the skin tone, I can change my skin tone, and I can change my face. Exactly like how it works in Rec Room on VR or screen mode on your PlayStation or PC. To exit this menu, as always, to exit the menu, you press the X in the upper right hand corner. Next, changing your clothes works very similar to how it does in any other version. You click on one of the selection drawers that you want. Let's say hats. You click on it. It might take a second to load. Once it loads, just like in regular versions of Rec Room, it loads all of your hats. You You can click it to grab, you can put it on, you can swap it, etc. Now, since I am holding this hat, this is a good time to go over how the object holding system works. As you can see, in the lower left-hand corner, there is a small box that looks like it has an arrow around it. If you press this, it will extend the object out in front of you. Now, this feature is present in regular screen mode, however it works slightly different in Rec Room. Once the object is extended in front of you, you can use your finger to slide up or down on it to change its rotation, and left and right. It is sometimes difficult to get the object facing the direction you want, but with some practice it does become easier. Pressing the button in the left corner again will return it back to your hand. The big put on button off to the right will put the object on. That space is often left open for action buttons such as throw or target, depending on whichever item you're holding. We'll go over a bunch of items later. Now in the lower right hand corner, you see a hand with a ball falling out of it. That's to drop an item. Pressing that will drop the item. If it wasn't a clothing item, it would fall down directly in front of you. Next, I will show you the Featured Creators board along with the YouTube and Instagram sections. To activate this, walk up to the board and a small browse button will appear. Now, when I first tried to explain how this board worked, I thought that the board didn't function as I tried to manually press the buttons using the point feature and did not see the browse button. However, when you press the browse button, it will focus the menu in front of you and you can click all of the options like you normally would in Rec Room. You can press info on YouTube videos and it will open up your default YouTube player. Refocusing Rec Room will take you back into the game. Once the game has reloaded and done everything, you can continue doing everything you would. Clicking on a YouTube video will download it and play it directly in the app. Now that I've shown you all the dorm room features, let's get into more of the creation tools, which are a big feature for most of the players on Rec Room. Like normal, you can open up your watch, go into your backpack, and take out your maker pen. Now to grab objects in the Rec Room mobile version, you scroll over them with your finger, make sure that the center of your screen is on the object, and press the little hand icon that will be on the illuminated green object. Pressing it will equip it into your hand. Now, exactly like the regular version of Rec Room, all of the creator tools are available to the mobile player right out of the box. Now, as you can see while holding the maker pen, off to the right is a large button that says Create Tube. This is the creation button that will be used to do all of your maker pen work. As you select different things from the palette, the button that says Create Tube will change to match whatever you have selected. To open up your maker pen menu, you click the three dots that are located on the upper left hand side of the screen. Pressing this will open up your maker pen menu. As you can see, all of the creation tools are available to you. Pressing the Open Palette button opens the palette, and as you can see, everything is there. Just for demonstration purposes, we are going to make a cube, and it's going to be a nice shade of blue. Just to show everyone, in the Settings tab, the whole host of settings that any regular creator on any other platform would have are available. You can change the rotation snap and the position snap, the snap to center, the edge align, along with all the tube settings. All the settings are available, but just for today's purposes, I'm going to make a simple cube just to demonstrate how making objects works. Now, to close, of course, you press the large X button in the upper corner, and you are back to your maker pen. As you can see, the button that used to say Create Tube now says Create Cube. Now, to make a cube, or any object for that matter, you position the tip of your maker pen, or the small white dot, to be more precise, where you want the object to start. Press and hold the button to start creating the object. You can now drag with your other finger to size the object. Now, moving anywhere in this mode will cause you to walk to size the object. At the moment, the creation tools do cause a little bit of lag, and like I said before, it will be more pronounced on my current recording as I'm mirroring to my computer. However, releasing the Create Cube button will stop drawing that object. You can then walk around, examine your cube, and draw another one. Rotating your finger within the Create Cube circle does more precise motions. Now that we have two cubes, we can go into the other build options. By pressing the three dots, you open up your Maker Pen menu. You can use the Manipulate tool, Recolor tool, Scale, etc. To demonstrate, I will show the Manipulate tool. After you select the Manipulate tool, you press the X, now located on the left side of the screen. Manipulating is very simple. You press Manipulate Shape, and it will send out a beam, which will hit whichever object you want, and then, much like a regular Maker Pen, you can select which side you want to manipulate. Once your beam is located on whatever you want to manipulate, you press Manipulate again, and by moving your thumb or whichever finger you're using within the Manipulate Shape circle, you can drag your shape smaller or larger. And you can do this with all the sides and all of your objects. Reopening the Maker Pen menu, you can go to Recolor. Recolor works just the same. If you had a different color selected, you would press Color, and it would recolor the object. I didn't select another color, so it's just recoloring them blue. From within the menu, all the other options work exactly the same. Scaling, for instance, you press Scale. Now, it was at this moment that I realized that not all the options are currently functioning in the beta, hence why it is a beta. As I am discovering now, the Scale option does not work, at least not for me. It might work for the players, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. However, scaling does not seem to be working at the moment. Nonetheless, I believe that feature will be fixed for the release. Like I said, the creators out there have the whole host of creator tools at their disposal. Once it's out of beta, I'm sure all these bugs will be ironed out. Once you are done editing, you can retake your Maker Pen, you can open it up, you can go to Move, you can take your wonderful creation, you can move it wherever you'd like by moving your finger within the Move circle. If you for some reason don't like your creation, you can press Delete, and you can delete your creation and it never existed. Moving on from creating Maker Pen shapes, let's move on to more props and other objects. If you open the palette and go to Props, you can scroll through the whole list of all the props. Let's for instance take out a cutlass. You select cutlass, and then you close your watch. You now have the Create Prop option in the lower right hand corner. Pressing this will create a prop. If you press and hold, you will have the ability to move the prop around and place it exactly where you want. Releasing will hold the prop in place. Pressing it again will drop the prop. This works for all props and subsequently all other objects. This works for circuits and everything else. The wire tool works much like the regular Maker Pen, where you can connect two circuits using the wire tool by moving your screen to face the two inputs and outputs that you want to connect. Now that we have spawned a prop, let's go over some of the actions you can do while holding different objects. Just for demonstration purposes, I have spawned in a few props that you would regularly see within Rec Room playing different games. Now I'll now demonstrate how each of them works. To start, we have most of the laser guns. To pick them up, you hover over them and press the grab button. That will pick them up. As you can see, there are many new options that have appeared on the screen. To start, off to your right, you have a targeting icon in the right center portion of the screen. Clicking this will activate your sight mode. Now this sight is surprisingly accurate, I've found. Once you've lined up your target, you can use the fire buttons on either the left or the right side of the screen. The right side fire button is larger than the left side. That's just a preference that Against Gravity has chose to make. Pressing the button will fire your weapon. Pressing the same button on the left side will do the same. Reloading is automatic, so you don't have to worry about that. Reloading, however, does take you out of aiming down the sights. Like other objects, you can press the rotate button in the bottom left-hand corner, where you can rotate your gun, if you would like to drop it in a specific place. And pressing that button again will return it to grab mode. As always, to drop the weapon, you can drop it by pressing the drop button in the bottom right-hand corner. And the weapon will fall at your feet. Moving on, we have a cutlass from the Isle of the Lost Skulls. Picking it up will activate sword mode. This is the same for all swords. You have two new buttons have appeared. A large button that has a slashing icon, and a smaller icon up to the upper right which has a shield icon. Pressing the slashing button, which is the larger one to the bottom right, swings your sword. Pressing it in rapid succession will cause you to do multiple sword swings. Pressing the shield button, which is in the middle of the right-hand portion of the buttons, will cause you to block. If you release the button, you will stay in blocking mode until the button is pressed again, or you decide to attack. This works for the same for all swords. Moving on, I just wanted to demonstrate some of the other gun mechanics. Picking up the flintlock, as you can see, it's exactly the same as the laser pistol. You have your aim and your fire. I wanted to show this off because it has really nice reloading animations, and it reloads automatically just like all the other guns. Again, you can fire with the left or right button, and when the gun is out, it will fall out of your hand, and despawn or stay there depending on what game mode you are in. Moving on, we have a grenade. This is the laser grenade found in laser tag. Pick it up by pressing on it, and you are now holding the grenade. In this mode, you can press the new icon that has appeared on the left-hand side of the screen, which is to aim your throw. Aim your shot by moving around your screen. Once you have lined up your shot, releasing the button that you are holding will throw the grenade. At the moment, as you can see, that did cause some minor lag. That is to be expected. This is a beta. The next item I have is a frisbee, often found in the rec center or frisbee golf. Picking it up will now give you a new throw option. Pressing this, much like the grenade, will allow you to throw it. You can aim your shot, and releasing it will throw the frisbee. It's not 100% accurate, and you need to get used to throwing it, but with practice, I believe people could get very good at throwing frisbees in this mode. Now, to finish things off, since this is a beta, I did want to show off this one minor bug that is in the game, so if you encounter it, you're not confused like I am. If you pick up a dodgeball, as you can see, you now have the targeting button off to the right. You can press it and you can target. However, since this is a beta, there is no throwing button, so at the moment it is impossible to throw dodgeballs. Now, since this is a beta, that will hopefully be fixed. It has been brought to their attention. You can drop the ball. Unfortunately, when I went to drop the dodgeball, my game did crash. Now, that could be due to the fact that I'm mirroring it, or that my iPhone is a little older, or that the storage is full, but like I said, this is a beta, so there are bugs and things that need to be ironed out. If you're lucky enough to get into the closed beta by receiving a key, make sure to report all of the bugs that you do discover to Against Gravity, so they can iron them out before the game is launched. Overall, the beta is a wonderful start. I think that it's going to be a good version of screen mode once it is eventually released. There are some bugs that need ironed out. However, there's nothing too major that makes the game unplayable. Like I said, performance does vary depending on the device you are using, and once the game is launched, of course, and optimized better, crashes and stutters and lag and things like that should hopefully decrease. One last thing I would like to mention before I go is that while playing the game, Your iPhone, or at least mine, does not always stay active, meaning it will dim and eventually turn off. It happened multiple times while recording this video. In that event, your iPhone does turn off. When opening your iPhone back up again after going through the unlock process, it will kick you and get you out of any room you are in, and there is a slight chance that the app will crash. Again, I'm not sure if this is my device specific or if all versions of this game are experiencing this, but you need to make sure that you tap your screen every once in a while to keep your phone awake so you do not get disconnected or AFK from a room. This may be an intended feature to prevent people from AFKing on screen mode, however, I'm not too sure about that myself. Nonetheless, thank you so much for watching this. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and tell your friends about the iOS version of Rec Room. I know a lot of people out there are excited. Don't forget to watch my other content. I do VR skit videos of Rec Room, and I will see you all soon in another video. Bye!